Hello everyone, Mixfant Gaming here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're back here in T3 Arena, and today we are on the Chinese test server, and we're going to take a look at the new upcoming hero, and that is Fort. So as you can see on the test server, we don't get things unlocked, we have to unlock them naturally. I've been trying a little bit to unlock some things as I can. There's still a large number of heroes here that I don't have unlocked, so we're just going to have to go into Fort here and have to try him out if we can. Apparently not, considering, there we go. For some reason, I went to do this video and I logged into the test server and just even my button presses aren't registering very well. I don't know if it's the internet or the really bad ping. Because it's a Chinese test server, I usually get really horrible ping and you can't even really play a natural game, let alone just having to mess with the interface here. But for Fort here, he is the upcoming new tank in the game. If we look at his ability, so he has an antimatter missile. So it's kind of like a cross between, I think it's more like Sindri's weapon and Christina's. The projectiles kind of stay around for a few seconds before they detonate. So even if you do hit their target directly, they won't take damage immediately. It'll take a second or two before they get damaged. So you want to be able to try to almost lead your target a little bit more. I do think that if you hit the target, then the missiles will stick to the target. So if you're able to actually hit the target, then that's a good thing in order to ensure that you do get damage taken to the enemy. But definitely Fort takes a little bit of time to kind of familiarize yourself with in order to be able to hit those targets. It has an antimatter barrier, and so the barrier health is about 6,000. It is good for crowd control if you can kind of be set up more in a lane. If you're in kind of big wide open space, it's just a barrier. The enemy can easily walk through it. It's really only going to stop projectile damage. And unfortunately, because this is a fast-paced game, unless you're really running a sniper type build, you're not going to stay in one spot very often. So I'm really not sure how useful this barrier will be. I've heard other content creators are saying that it's going to be the next overpowered hero. I'm not really convinced, and we'll get into some of that once I go to show you some of the items. The gravity swirl, it's basically like a black hole type effect. You drop it, it will suck enemies in towards the center, and it will do some damage over time. Now you have to be really accurate with this, I found. It takes a couple seconds before it actually will start pulling targets to it. So that gives the enemy a few seconds to get out of the range. And so with this, you almost have to anticipate where the enemy is going to be. So you can kind of throw it almost in front of them. Because if you throw it directly at them, usually, at least from my testing so far, the enemy has plenty of time to get out of it just by walking. So you really want to have to be a little bit more conscious of where you actually throw it. It's great for crowd control. Probably something if you use it like on a control type map, maybe even like a Crystal Assault or something like that, where players tend to congregate into certain areas. But for more of a fast-paced type game mode, such as like Team Deathmatch, it might not be as effective as it would be if you can kind of get more than one target infected with the gravity swirl. Now, where I think the Fort is going to be pretty strong is with this passive shield. It's called the Impact Shield, and essentially, if you don't take any damage for 5 seconds in a match, you gain 1,000 temporary shield. And as we all know, you're not going to be in battle all the time. It's quite easy to go 5 seconds without not taking any damage. So you're pretty much almost always going to have that extra 1,000 shield, and that's going to be pretty advantageous. But anyways, let's hop out of here. Let's go into and let's just try it out, and hopefully you'll see kind of what I'm talking about here. All right, so we're going here. I'm really not going to take any damage from this. It's just AI just basically almost sitting there, allowing you to shoot at them. But I'm going to try and get at least a couple of the ultimates off so you can see, and we'll look at the barrier as well. So we're coming here. We're going to go over here. So as you can see, the targets, they're burst damage. So if I go on up here, see how they stay for a few seconds? And they do stay kind of on the target, but they don't do initial damage right away. See, they're just staying there. Take a few seconds. Here we go. And see, they're now attached to the actual victor there. So they do stay. So now, if I let's get through this mark here. Let's go over here. There's a few victors over here. So let's throw up the temporary shield here, or at least the barrier. So it does a decent job. It has a, I think it was 6,000 HP. So it is effective, but as you can see, it's really small. So I also have to be directly behind it to get the full advantage if I can. And as you see this Victor just walked right through it. No problem at all. And no, now let's go. But no, this shield really does, it can come up almost right away. So it has an 8-second cooldown and 6,000 health. So here in 2 seconds, the shield is still up. And now I can drop another one right here. Now, of course, the other one goes away once you drop it. But as you can see, you can almost always have a shield. So let's drop my ultimate here right in front of this guy if we can. And see, you know, he kind of got thrown. So, see, they finally got pulled in here, but it was at the last second. And really, the gravity swirl doesn't stay out very often. So you really do have to be a little bit more conscious of how you drop that gravity swirl if you want to have any effect and be able to pull the enemy into the center here. So again, the shield goes up. And I can get in a little bit behind here so I have a little bit more cover. But the second I come back here, you see I've now lost the shield. And it really doesn't put a huge dome over very much. So you want to, I think probably the way you use the barrier is to keep it a little bit more close to you than try to throw it down in the middle of the lane, because it's just, you have a lot more protection if you throw it close to you than if you throw it further away. Alright, so let's go on over here. So let's throw the shield down here again. And see, I miscalculated. I wanted to throw it in front of me, and I didn't. So let's see what happens if I throw it directly at this guy. See, there he is. He almost got out of it when I hit him just directly with it. So you really have to be conscious of where you throw that gravity swirl if you want to make sure that you get enemies sucked in toward it. I think the gravity swirl would be a little bit more effective if it started to pull enemies immediately instead of waiting just a few seconds. And that's why I don't think this is going to be necessarily OP. As for tanks, I actually think I would still prefer Jabali, to be perfectly honest. You get a really powerful shield. You can set it up and drop it down whenever you want. This one, once you place a shield, it's there until it basically gets depleted or you drop another shield. Whereas Jabali, you have complete control over when you want to raise it and lower it. And with Jabali, it's always with you, so you can always just turn in the direction that you're taking damage, and you can yeah, you just have a lot more control. This one, the barrier is basically stuck wherever you put it, and the enemy can easily walk around it. So as for tanks, yes, I think Jabali is still going to be kind of the king when it comes to tanks. Fort is, I think, in the right hands, will be definitely a force to be reckoned with. And its passive is really awesome. You notice I have that shield right now. But of course, I'm not going to get depleted because nobody's actually attacking me here. But anyways, I think you've seen enough of kind of what I'm talking about. A lot of other players that are saying that this will be OP. They might know better. They are a lot more experienced in this game than I am. That's for sure. So I do not want to discount what they say at all. I just think from my own personal experience, for what I've seen so far, I really don't think 4 is going to be OP. But I'm pretty sure that if you get the right player, it definitely will seem like he's OP. See, I completely missed it there. So you really do have to be a lot conscious of where you drop that gravity swirl. Anyways, that's enough for there. Let's just quit this, let's just exit this game mode here, if I can. And we'll just call it a video. So anyways, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are. I'm looking forward to Fort coming out. But, it's, unless you're willing to invest the resources in leveling them up and even maxing them up, because I think once you get that temporary shield passive, that's where he will really start to be quite strong. I have a lot more heroes that I need to invest resources in, and I've been trying to kind of put my resources to like 1 healer, 1 tank, 1 sniper, 1 brawler, that type of thing. That way, I at least have 1 leveled up of each kind of main category, and then I'll start spending my resources amongst other ones that I want to play. So I probably myself won't invest in a Fort immediately. But, one thing that I'll have to give the team credit for, if they don't feel Fort is balanced enough, whether he's too strong or he's too weak, they will either buff or nerf him relatively quickly, kind of like what they did with Wao Ling. Wao Ling turned out to be extremely strong and OP, and they were not afraid to nerf her relatively quickly. So we all know the team, at least from my perspective, they really take balance seriously in this game. So if Fort is the type of hero that you want, that you kind of like its mechanics, and you want to play it and you find he's a little bit too weak, well, just keep at it, because, you know, in the next update, he could maybe actually get a buff. And similarly, you know, if he's getting too strong for the community overall, realize that he might get a nerf relatively quickly too. But we won't know until it comes to the live server and we get some true gameplay in. Anyways, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Until next time, cause some mayhem in the field for me.